You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, brought to you by SDC International Shipping, LA's finest. An international move is exciting. It's a time to start over, establish a new business maybe, reestablish family ties, or retire where your budget will do more for you. Please enjoy today's episode, and if you have any questions about your international move, give us a call at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962. All right, welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year to you. This is Jim. You're listening to the International Moving Podcast, your guide to moving to another country, now moving into 2025. So we have a whole year ahead of us. I hope it's a good one for everyone listening. And I want to talk today about the changing world of international moving and why SDC International Shipping continues to stand out in that world. Now, if you've been thinking about moving to a new country or you're in the middle of planning a big international move, I really think you'll enjoy this episode because today we're going to talk about what makes the international moving industry just so fascinating. We're going to talk about how it's evolved and discuss why selecting the right mover is critical. And maybe we'll even take a closer look at why the UK, one of our most popular moves, is going to continue to be such a hot spot for relocations in 2025. Also, I'll share some tips to help you avoid common pitfalls. We'll talk about navigating international regulations. And of course, hopefully all of this makes your move as seamless as possible. So whether you're moving for work, retirement, or just a fresh start, I think this podcast has a little bit for everyone. So let's just jump right into it. First, let's talk a little bit about how international moving has changed. Actually, so many things have changed. Everything has changed. So you can take a trip down memory lane and look at something like international moving. And one of the things, of course, that's changed for the better is international moving because it wasn't always as streamlined as it is today. We can go back decades ago, and generally shipping back in the day belonged to, and we're talking about shipping belongings overseas, it was quite a process. It was very, very expensive. And basically large corporations, governments, or people that were wealthy, these are the people that we primarily saw relocating across borders. The process was usually slow. There wasn't a way to track your shipment like we have today. And you can imagine waiting months for a container and not knowing where it was at any given time. But when we fast forward to today, things couldn't be any more different. Technology has revolutionized the industry, from real-time GPS tracking to AI-powered logistics systems. Moving internationally is faster, it's safer, and it's more efficient than it ever was. And that's going to continue to be so as we go into 2025 because there's always new applications being rolled out to help at different parts of the processes. People improve. Sometimes you think that, especially maybe if you're a little bit older, that things were better in the past. Some things definitely were, but I would say that international moving definitely wasn't one of them. And this is where technology really makes the difference. And time, as people continue, companies improve processes, all these parts come together to make the whole experience more seamless than ever. But, when you think about the convenience of moving, there is a catch in the form of regulations because every country has its own set of customs rules, and these are continuously changing. So, for example, some nations may have strict guidelines on what you can and cannot import. Everything from food items to household goods might be restricted, and this is where expertise matters. Companies like SDC International Shipping have to stay on top of these regulations to ensure your move goes smoothly. For instance, did you know that some countries require a special treatment for wood packing, and that's to prevent pests? So if your packing materials don't meet the standards, your shipment could be delayed, or worse yet, it could be outright rejected. And if you're not working with a mover or a company that understands that, you could be in for problems. Every time I learn about some of these little nuances that go into our topic, international moving and relocation, I find myself thinking, well, I never would have thought of that before. And that's why, like many things in life, there's a time where the do-it-yourself route is perfectly fine, and then there's a time where it just makes sense to work with experts to help improve the overall experience. The legal system is one of them. Probably, well, I can name a few off the top of my head, but this is definitely where an international move fits into that category. It's better to work with people that are experienced and really know what they're doing instead of trying to cut corners. So now the question I wanted to just examine briefly is, why do so many people move to the UK, and why especially so in 2025? So the UK has been one of SDC's most popular relocations over the past several years, and there's a lot of reasons for this. First, post-Brexit, the UK has worked hard to position itself as a hub for global talent, and they've introduced something called the UK's Global Talent Visa, and that makes it easier for skilled professionals in the areas of technology, healthcare, the arts, to move and to relocate there. Education is another big draw. The UK is home to some of the world's most prestigious universities, like, for example, Oxford and Cambridge. Families often move there, even if it's just temporarily, to give their children access to top-notch education systems. So the cultural appeal is undeniable. Also, when you think about London, there's a lot of pluses and minuses to living in any big city. London is no exception. But it's still known for some of the things it used to be known for in the past. In other words, the UK offers something for everyone. Whether you're looking for the big city or you're looking for country life, many retirees are drawn to the countryside. Young professionals still enjoy the vibrant city life. Healthcare is another issue. Lots of pros and cons to healthcare, no matter what country you're talking about. The UK isn't an exception to this. They have something called the National Healthcare Service, or the NHS, and that provides affordable, high-quality medical care, which is a major bonus for families and retirees alike. However, I've heard things about people being on waiting lists for procedures, operations, and things like that, and that has caused issues. I guess, again, no system is perfect. There has been a uptick in moves to cities like Manchester, Bristol, Edinburgh, not just London. These other cities combine opportunities with lower cost of living, and that makes them extra appealing for expats. And of course, like we can talk about any country, the UK isn't without its challenges. Custom clearance, for one, can be a little tricky, especially if you're shipping valuable items like antiques or vehicles. And again, that's where having the right company with the expertise comes in. You can be guided through every step, and if you're going to work with a company like SDC, then they're going to ensure that you're compliant and that you meet all of the regulations, and by doing so, avoid any costly mistakes. Okay, let's keep going. Why choose SDC International Shipping? Well, one of the most common mistakes people make when moving internationally is hiring a broker. Now, are there other good international moving companies out there? I'm sure they are. Of course, we're talking about SDC International Shipping, and that's because this is our podcast. And like I said, it's not that we're the only good company out there. Let me add a little asterisk. It's not that we're the only great company out there to help you. It's just that you want to work with a company that ticks all of the boxes. And one of the most common mistakes people make when they move internationally is they hire a broker instead of a full-service mover. The broker acts as a middleman, and they outsource every part of your move to third-party providers. Oftentimes, they provide the providers they're using are lower cost, so they can add more money on top. But with lower cost services, and you get sometimes what you'd expect when people tell you you're going to get what you pay for. Now, hiring a broker, it may sound convenient, but the problem is it oftentimes leads to miscommunication. It leads to delays. It leads to unexpected costs. And then if something goes wrong, no one wants to take responsibility. Everyone's pointing to the other person. And so at SDC International Shipping and companies like ours, we're different. We are full service international movers, which means we handle everything in-house. From the packing of your belongings to coordinating logistics, storage, customs clearance, we're with you every step of the way. So our services include things like custom packing and crating. We use materials that meet international standards, ensuring that your belongings are protected from start to finish. Specialized shipping solutions, whether we're talking about expensive high-end pianos, artwork, classic cars. We have the experience to handle unique items, uniquely sized items, and the rest. Insurance options. We offer all risk and total loss insurance that can give you peace of mind during your entire move. And one of the biggest perks, of course, is transparency, because with a company like SDC International Shipping, you'll get a detailed quote up front, so you know exactly what you're paying for without any hidden fees or surprises. Now, on the other hand, the cheap mover advertising that we see online a lot of time, the elephant in the room always usually comes down to cost, because moving internationally is a big financial commitment. It's tempting to choose the cheapest option. And as I was saying before, cheaper doesn't always mean better. You get what you pay for, and sometimes not even that, right? I mean, you've been around a while, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Many low-cost movers, they cut corners to keep their prices down. They might use subpar packing materials. They may hire inexperienced staff or skip essential steps like customs compliance. The result? Your belongings may be damaged. You may experience delays in the shipping process. Unexpected fees may be tacked on at the end, and they have your belongings. And so if you want your belongings, you're going to have to pay the fees. Now at SDC, we believe in doing things the right way, even if it means that we're going to have to bid ours a little bit higher, because we're committed to quality and reliability. We have professional packers that are trained. They use top-grade materials, and our logistics team ensures that every detail is handled with care. Here's a real-world example. We once helped a client move a grand piano to Paris along with their household goods, and it was a delicate, high-value item, and the client, understandably, was nervous. But because of our expertise in this area, the piano arrived in perfect condition, and the client was thrilled. Could a budget mover have pulled that off? Probably not. Probably not. And this is one of the reasons why, when you're talking with an experienced moving company, they're going to get the details of all of your items before the quote takes place. They're going to want to see exactly what it is that they're moving. We have systems in place to make that possible. And again, if we can't get somebody physically there to look at each of your items and what's going to be packed and what's going to be moved, we have apps that can do that you can put on your phone. There's a lot of ways to do it, but it's important, right? If somebody's going to give you a quote, they want to actually be able to see what's involved in the job itself, or else they're just pulling a number out of the air, and maybe they pull the wrong number, and then you wind up having to make the difference up at the end. With SDC International Shipping, that's not going to happen. Now, on your part, on your side, no matter where you're going in the world, you're going to want to start early, right? You're going to understand that there are some practical things that you can do on your side. Like, again, because an international move involves so much, you want to make sure you take the time to plan. So I would say minimally, you want to, at least 3 months in advance of your move, start going through the planning process. Figure out what you have to do, what you're taking, what you're not taking. Get on the phone if you want. You can call SDC International Shipping at 877-339-0267. That's 877-339-0267. You can visit our website if you want. But the idea here is that if you have some questions and you want to get started early, of course, then begin to ask those questions. I suggest talking to an expert right in the beginning of the process. Because sure, you can go online, you can look things up, you can even use AI and get answers, but sometimes that information is dated. And when we're talking with other countries' rules and regulations, we're going into a new year, 2025. Even here in the United States, new rules go into effect. New regulations will go into effect when a new president is sworn in. Sometimes, even if it's not a new president, it's a new year, certain things lapse, other things begin. And so the information that you get online may not be up to date relative to your particular move, your destination, and customs regulations. For example, some things in France go into effect in 2025 that weren't in effect in 2024 and before that time. The process of moving into France is more involved today than it has ever been before, and that's due to a change in regulations going into effect in 2025. So by speaking with professionals, people that do this each and every day, you can assure yourself that you're getting the right information, up-to-date information, instead of outdated information, which no longer applies, and because you're not aware of it, it's going to cause you troubles down the line. And this is true for a lot of things. And we can look at customs, for example. You want to be able to work with your mover to ensure that the paperwork is in order and that any changes that have happened between this year and last year relative to your destination are all taken into account. And most of the problems happen, I think, when people they go the do-it-yourself route when it comes to inventorying their belongings for customs. They don't do it properly. They've never done it before. And this is why, again, it really helps to work with a professional. If nothing else, you have the peace of mind knowing that the person overseeing that part of your move, that's something that they do each and every day. Insurance is another part of a move. This is one of the things that, you can, when we talk about car insurance, homeowners insurance, all kinds of insurance. Now, if you don't live in a place where, you may be subject to, right now I'm making this recording from Florida, for example. And so there are things that you face in this part of the country that you don't face in, let's say, the Northeast. Or if you live in California, there's issues sometimes there with the forest fires, which affects insurance. Insurance is one of those things that you hope you never need, but it's there if you need it. Of course, on the other hand, there's such a thing as over-insuring, and you're spending money that sometimes you really don't have to over-insure. And so there is a happy medium in between where you can insure as much or as little as you want, and you don't have to pay for insurance that you don't need. Just know that going into your international move, because you can get a comprehensive package. You can extra insure specific things that are of extra importance to you. You can just get the general coverage. It depends. Everybody is different. And so when you're working with an international moving company and the topic comes up of insurance, then they should have options for you. There shouldn't be a one-size-fits-all plan that they're presenting to you where your only options are to take it or leave it. If that's the case, then you need to consider working with another company. Now, before we wrap it up for today, let's talk about some of the popular destinations that I'm seeing for early 2025. And if you're considering a move this year, just know that you're with a lot of other people. Certain countries have become hotspots for expats, retirees, and professionals alike. And we can say the same actually of the United States. I know we talk a lot about moving from the U.S. to other countries, but at SDC we also move many people from other countries here to the United States for people looking for similar things, professional opportunities, new beginnings, and so on. Now, we've already talked about the UK, the United Kingdom, but it's worth mentioning one more time. The draw of a shared language, of course, very big. You don't have to learn another language. They're known for having excellent healthcare, and industries like tech, finance, those things are booming in the UK as well as other places around the world. London is still known for having global business opportunities. And then, of course, there's other people looking for places like the Scottish Highlands. They want a peaceful retirement. So the UK overall offers something for everyone. And if you're going to work with us, we specialize in things like navigating UK customs. We do that regularly. We'll ensure that all your belongings arrive safely and on time. Plus, we have experienced shipping things like high value items, antiques, all of that to the UK. So you can know right up front that your valuables, your treasures will be handled with care. Spain is another big one. It remains a favorite and will continue to do so, I think, in 2025, particularly for retirees and digital nomads, because there's a sunny climate there. They have affordable cost of living and a vibrant culture, which make it very attractive to many people. We can look at cities like Barcelona, Madrid, which are considered to be hubs for professionals. Also, there's coastal towns like Valencia and Malaga, which offer a slower pace of life. Moving to Spain involves very detailed customs paperwork, especially for household goods and vehicles. SDC, of course, has experience with that, with this country, and will handle the logistics so you can focus on exploring your new home. Door-to-door services ensure that your belongings are delivered directly to your residence. Portugal was very big last year. I think it'll be very big again this year. It's been climbing the charts. 2025 shouldn't be an exception, because its golden visa program has made it an attractive option for investors and retirees. Cities like Lisbon and Porto are magnets, not just for U.S. expats, but for expats worldwide, looking for a blend of tradition and modernity. SDC, of course, we understand the Portugal customs regulations. We understand them inside out. Again, another country with a very complex customs regulation setup, but our team is here to make the process simple. Whether you're shipping a whole household or just one room, we offer containerized solutions to protect your belongings during the journey to Portugal. Canada, our neighbor to the north, they have more or less a stable economy there. Their healthcare system is good. Again, they too are plagued with long waits from time to time, but they do have welcoming immigration policies that continue to draw families and professionals. Cities like Toronto and Vancouver are especially popular for job opportunities and quality of life. Moving to Canada often involves long-distance logistics, of course, but the network is in place so that you can have seamless transportation from the U.S. or anywhere else to Canada. Also, we do provide climate-controlled storage solutions for people that need flexibility, temporary storage perhaps, during their transition from one place to the next. Australia, another location, probably I'll wrap it up with Australia. Australia remains a top destination still for adventure seekers and for professionals. It has a laid-back lifestyle. People there enjoy stunning landscapes. The industries like healthcare and engineering are booming. But they do have a very, very strict biosecurity regulations in Australia. And so shipping there requires a little bit extra, I guess you could say, oversight. And the packing materials have to be approved. So there's not a place to cut a corner, especially going to Australia. And everything has to comply with their standards. Again, they are very strict. So working with a company like SDC will help you coordinate all of the customs clearance to minimize or eliminate delays. So there you have it. Wherever your next adventure is taking you, SDC International Shipping is here to help. Tailored services are available. An extensive global network is already in place, along with a commitment to excellence and to make any relocation seamless and enjoyable. So if you're ready to start your journey, visit us at sdcinternationalshipping.com. My name is Jim. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Again, if you want, our number is 877. If you want to give us a call, 877-339-0267. That's 877-339-0267. Look forward to the months ahead as we go through a brand new year. I hope you're looking forward to it too. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend, and I will see you the next time. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Thanks for listening. Whether you're relocating within the country or moving to the other side of the world, we're here to help from start to finish. Connect with us today at 888-779-3962. That's 888-779-3962.